Hey, it's Douglas James. If you were watching this video, that means one of three things. You saw me online or found one of my ads and wanted to learn more about me, what I have to offer. Hey, thank you so much for doing your research. Or two, you might have the same questions or concerns about my buddy Ippei over here. Or three, hey, you subscribed to my stuff. Welcome back. So I'm making this video in response to a video that Ippei made to help set the record straight on some points he was trying to make in his video. I'm also making this video as a response to not only Ippei's video, but to all the other fake review sites or fake review videos you might find online like Ippei's or Scam Risk. If you've ever seen a video or website that says scam or legit in the title or headline, chances are you're being targeted and you should be aware to protect yourself from these kinds of marketers. Now, you might be thinking, Doug, your video literally has scam or legit in the title. And yes, you are correct, my friend. I will be using similar tactics as an example to show you and teach you how to identify these kinds of marketers so you can protect yourself from their targeted strategies. And in the process, you'll learn a few things about SEO, search engine optimization, which is how I got my start in online marketing. And you could even learn a thing or two that can help you make some cash in the future with my marketing strategies and training. So let's get right into it. Now, before I dive super deep, I want to cover a couple clips from his video and add some clarity here. So I'm on my computer. Let me go ahead and play a quick clip from Ippei's video.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to review Douglas James's course. Sometimes we get people thinking our course is like similar to Douglas's course because he uses a lot of the same words like lead generation, but in this video I want to show that his business model is quite a bit different than ours. We use free traffic to generate leads for small businesses and Douglas uses paid traffic. So in this video I'm going to point out pros and cons of each different model and the difference between them. I personally prefer generating leads with free traffic, so I'm going to explain to you guys why. I think this is why a lot of people get confused because he talks about lead generation. Yes, technically Douglas James is generating leads, but what he's teaching is more like paid ads agency. Whereas our program, we actually generate leads ourselves with free traffic. We don't need the client's credit card to generate leads. We use our skills of building a digital property, rank it in Google, and that's how we generate leads.
Basically, he's trying to convince you that his video is to clear confusion from his products to our products. There is no confusion. This is simply a ploy to divert your attention to them. Sure, consumers probably compare products and services all the time. Hey, I do it all the time. And maybe he's trying to be helpful, but as I get into this video and unfold my research, you will learn how to identify people like this and their behavior, which can literally save you thousands of dollars down the line. Here's the next clip real quick that I want to play of him trying to position himself as an authority superior to myself by stating that I learned from him and his business partner, Dan.
What you'll find interesting is that Douglas James actually got started online within our group. So this is a post from March 1st, 2016. He says, today marks 90 days since I joined JK. My initial goal was to hit 7K a month. Today I'm making 13.5K a month. Words can't describe how grateful I am to Dan, Brad. The JK process is solid. There are no shortcuts, no secrets. If you do what is taught by Dan, you will succeed. I've done it. Been doing it, killing it. So yeah, Douglas, you got started in our program. Here's a picture of Douglas and Dan. Dan is the main coach in our program, Dan Klein. And yeah, I am Dan's right-hand man today, his partner, and yeah.
Now, this is partially true and mostly not. There's way more to this story than meets the eye, so let's go deeper. I'll say this, no one is self-made. We are all built on the shoulders of giants. That's a quote from Isaac Newton. In every industry, every business, anyone you see doing big things, there is a high probability that they started and learned from someone else. That doesn't make them bad. It actually makes them even more credible. Why? Because they got vulnerable. They put their hand up and said, I need help. They found it, learned, and kept going and innovating along the way. Look at people like Tony Robbins. He feeds 4 million people per year in 56 countries. He also has initiated programs in more than 1,500 schools, 700 prisons, and 50,000 service organizations and shelters. When Tony was 17 years old, he found Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was Tony's mentor, which influenced who Tony became today. Did Jim build the empire for Tony? No, Tony did it. Or people like Michael Jordan, 6-time NBA champion, owner of the NBA Hornets, and Nike brand deal that does over $5 billion a year. Many don't know that Julius Erving was his mentor through his 15 years, and Julius advised Michael on not only sports competition, but he advised him in building his business empire. Did Julius win the championships or build the businesses for Mike? No, Mike did it, but he got the support he needed from his team. The professionals that make it and stay in the game long term, what sets them apart is their ability to innovate and pivot as things change. Technically, I've been in marketing since I joined the Navy in 2008, but I didn't realize it till later on. I'll explain that shortly. I've been in internet marketing since 2015, and I'll get into that as well. I've had to innovate and pivot probably a dozen or more times since then because of changes in the economy, technology, markets, etc., and I'm still here playing my own game. That is what sets me apart in my humble opinion. Now, I do want to share a very interesting insight here, and it's regarding when a mentee outgrows their mentor or when they outgrow their coach. Through our history, some of the greatest minds have had mentors and they had coaches and they eventually outgrew them. And to be honest, after doing my research and working with a bunch of coaches and mentors myself, it is highly appropriate for you to eventually outgrow your mentor or outgrow your coach because they're doing something a certain way. They're sticking to their own lane. Right. And what happens is once you hire a mentor or a coach and you eventually start to work with them for some time, it's natural for you to outgrow them because you are going to contribute innovations and strategies that goes well beyond anything that they have taught you. Right. So we see this all the time. An easy example is, America, for example, created vehicles. They created cars, right? And then the Japanese made the cars better and more efficient and for cheaper for a fraction of the cost, right? That's just one example. What I did was I'm using a program here called Chat GPT. Basically, this is an AI software that you can ask it anything. It uses the internet and it pulls all of the information for you. This is actually a free tool that you can use to find information. It's kind of like doing a Google search, but getting more specific information off of the internet. And all I did is I asked this AI, hey, give me historic examples of mentees who outgrew their mentors. And look at these examples. Alexander the Great and Aristotle, right? Here's a photo of them. This is our history. It says Aristotle was the tutor of Alexander the Great when he was a young boy. However, as Alexander grew older and became a conqueror, he began to outgrow his mentor's teachings and philosophies. This is really interesting. Look at this one, number 2. Steve Jobs and Robert Noyce. Okay, here's a photo of them right here, way back in the day. Robert Noyce, the co-founder of Intel, was a mentor to Steve Jobs in the early days of Apple. However, as Apple grew and became more successful, Jobs began to outgrow Noyce's influence. Very interesting, right? So here's the third one, Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. Like here's a picture of them right here. It says Steve Jobs was an early mentor to Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, which is now called Meta today. However, as Facebook grew into a massive social media platform, Zuckerberg's vision for the company diverged from Jobs' ideas. What I'm starting to see a common trend here is the innovation and the pivot, and they went well beyond to do greater, bigger things, right? Here's a fourth example in history, Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad, right? Here's a photo of these two guys here from back in the day. So Elijah Muhammad was the leader of the Nation of Islam, of which Malcolm X was a member and prominent speaker. However, as Malcolm X began to question Elijah Muhammad's leadership and his teaching, he outgrew his mentor and eventually broke away from the Nation of Islam. So in this interesting example, basically what we're seeing is Malcolm X was not really aligning fully with Elijah's ideas and principles and started to outgrow him and pivot. And we all know that he's a prominent figure in our history, just like Alexander the Great, Aristotle, Steve Jobs, so on and so forth, and Mark Zuckerberg. Here's a fifth and final example. We have Bruce Lee and Yip Man, right? We all know who Bruce Lee is. This guy is a complete legend, right? It says here, Yip Man was a martial arts master who taught Bruce Lee in his early years. However, as Lee developed his own unique style and became a martial arts icon, he outgrew his mentor's teachings and went on to create his own philosophy of martial arts. Okay, so these are just a few examples of mentees who outgrew their mentors. It is a natural part of the mentor-mentee relationship for the mentee to eventually surpass the mentor in some way, and it could be a sign of mentee's growth and development. So this is highly appropriate, right? So if you ever work with a coach or a mentor, it would be your coach or mentor's goal to eventually have you outgrow them. And from what I'm seeing from all the students and clients that we work with, this happens and often in different areas of marketing and different areas of sales, right? We stick to the fundamentals here and we provide the value that we do. And it's completely natural for this to happen. Now, what happens with our organization, however, we stay on the leading edge of technology. For example, I'm using AI right now to show you an example, is because AI is one of the most cutting edge things today, which is something that we teach our students and within our program. So I just wanted to show you, this is a prime example. This is part of our history. It is completely natural to outgrow your coach or outgrow your mentor. So this should be expected. And if it happens, it's actually a very good thing. It's a very positive thing. So I hope this helps. Here's my story. I joined the Navy back in June of 2008. I became a hospital corpsman. I trained with the Marine Corps, basically for war, traveled all over the world doing and seeing amazing things. I deployed to the Pacific Islands of Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and the Philippines, where we built schools for kids and rendered healthcare services for impoverished communities. On that deployment, I received the rank of E6. I was moving very, very fast in my career. When you serve and you stand out from your peers by way of character and work ethic, you become eligible to be recognized for Sailor of the Year, which I was, and I won. Out of thousands of other sailors, I received this recognition. And in that process, I realized this years later, but to be successful in the military or any job for that matter, no matter what you're doing, you got to be good at marketing and you got to be good at selling yourself. Here's the moment of me receiving the award from Admiral Nathan. When you go up for these boards, you are in a hallway standing at attention for hours with 4 or 5 of the best sailors in the Navy. It's a competition and everyone gets a shot at presenting their packages, accolades, achievements, and themselves to a board of distinguished, high-ranking sailors and officers. Basically, you got to convince this board why you are more deserving of the Sailor of the Year award than anyone else. This award is a very distinguished achievement in the military, outside of others like a Purple Heart or a Bronze Star, which you typically earn in live combat. This was marketing and sales, and I was naturally good at it. I realized this later on after I discovered marketing. I found marketing and lead generation by my buddy Anthony Waite. Anthony was a fellow sailor that had gotten into an MLM. It was called Advocare, a supplement brand. This all happened after my deployment to the Pacific Islands, and at that point, I felt I accomplished all I wanted to do in the Navy. So when I learned about what Anthony was doing, this is when I started to transition mentally. So I contacted Anthony. I told him, hey man, I want in. Teach me all about this MLM supplement stuff with Advocare, what you're doing. And he brought me into one of his mixers that he was hosting. I saw what he was doing and signed up immediately. Then I learned about the strategy from the MLM company to use social media to how to invite friends, family members, ask for referrals, to sell the supplements and so on. So I started to do that, and I was posting on Instagram almost every day, and I was generating leads, and these leads were turning into customers, and these customers were buying my supplement products from Advocare, and I was earning a commission. It actually went so well that the first money that I ever made outside the military as an adult was with this MLM company. And I remember getting a check for $600, and I thought I was on top of the world. Little did I know. But the problem with MLMs or this Advocare product, because of the style marketing, it forced me to basically contact every friend or family member in their DMs to buy the product. And it literally ruined some relationships. People got pissed off and they said, hey, stop DMing me, stop contacting me. And so it really quickly ran out of steam. And at this point, I was looking for something else. I knew about marketing. I knew about lead generation. I just needed a better vehicle. So I was up late one night researching, and I found a website called Job Killing, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. The website's called literally exactly what I'm trying to do right now. I was like, wow, this is pretty good targeting. Little did I know, it was an SEO course that taught you how to create websites, rank them on Google, and basically sell the leads to businesses. And that made sense to me. Because I understood marketing, I understood lead generation, so I was like, okay, let's go ahead and book a call and speak with these guys, and end up opting into the program, which I believe cost like $8,000 at the time. I don't remember exactly, but I remember having a conversation with Dan himself. I was at work, I was still in the military, and it was either Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving when I spoke to him before I signed up. I have to say, the guy was actually convincing, and he was actually really nice at the time, and it sounded like a good deal, so I jumped in. And because of my work ethic and how I show up, I mean, I went all in on this thing to the point where it was 6 months in or so, and I was already making 10 or so grand per month, earning way more than what I was already making in the military. I was actually so invested and so impressed with this training in this community that I did start to attend events that they were hosting in Las Vegas. Now, earlier in Ippei's video, he was showing you photos and videos of me at events, which in fact I was there. But the one thing that he did not tell you back in 2016, Ippei was actually a peer, meaning he was a student of the same training program that I was in. All right, so here's photos of us hanging out in Vegas as friends. Okay, we had dinner, we had drinks together. All right, we had like a really good time. We actually had a really good connection back then. I believe later on, Dan might have approached Ippei and probably asked him to be the face of his company, which is still selling SEO lead generation training. So this is the part of the video where the story and my involvement in this job killing organization kind of goes south. All right. So the SEO business stuff actually works. Okay. Look, I was making money. I was doing it. But what happened was back in 2016, around August or so, Google released an algorithm update that affected SEO strategy. It was called the Penguin Update, all right? And because this program was teaching SEO in a certain particular way, when the algorithm came out, it negatively impacted many of the students. I don't know as to what extent, but it certainly impacted my business in the sense that at the time I had approximately 15 to 20 websites ranked on page 1 of Google. These were 15 to 20 clients that I had that were paying me a retainer of anywhere from $500 a month to $2,000 a month at the time. And I remember waking up the next day after that algorithm update, and literally like all my websites disappeared from page 1 for their respective keyword searches. It was called the Penguin Killer, okay? Because if you were using spammy backlinks or had spammy backlink practices in your SEO, then you were negatively impacted by this update. And because these spammy backlink techniques were being taught in the program, Job Killing, unfortunately, it negatively impacted any type of success that I might have had with their training. Here's my Stripe account in 2016. You can see when I first started, I made about $3,200 in January that year. And as time went on, you can see that I did have 4 and even 5-figure months. But look at what happened immediately after this Penguin update came out in August and September. It went all the way down from here, and it started to slowly go down in the way to the point where in January of 2017, I had punched in a lower amount than I originally did when I first started a year ago. Now let me change this on my computer on my Stripe account to show you all of 2017, okay? So as you can see, it skyrocketed. I made almost 3 or 4 times more money than I did in 2016 with paid ads lead generation. I made a pivotal change because I could not continue to offer SEO services to my clients. I basically lost them all, and I had to implement a paid ad strategy because, as you may or may not know, SEO can take months, even years, to get a website ranked high on Google before you can start generating leads or start getting paid. With paid ads, you spend $1 today, and nearly the same day, $4, $5, and even $10 can come out the other end. This is how I was able to rebound so quickly by learning paid ads on Google, paid ads on Facebook as well at the time. When I lost my SEO business, I basically left the community and I never looked back. And I started focusing on paid ads full time. I basically felt like if I'm going to be investing money into training and investing into a community and going to these events with these experts, the leadership should be able to be ahead of the curve on technology algorithm updates or any kind of updates in their curriculum. And none of that was really happening because they were teaching their students a spammy way of conducting business as far as SEO. I could not rely on their strategies going forward, and I had to find something else and start to hone in on my own personal skills and build my own brand and build my own company at that point. And I'm so glad that I did. Now, at this point, I got into paid ads full time. I was doing really, really well. I had a bunch of clients, and I really started to have really big months in business. And there came a point where I was making my annual salary from the Navy in a single month, right? And I could not get out of the military because I was locked into a contract. So I was having to do this while working, 10-hour days, standing duties on the weekends. And at the time, I was really into the gym, so I was probably walking around like 12 or 13% body fat. So my day basically looked like this. I would wake up at 4 a.m. I would go straight to the gym, hit the gym for about 2 hours, head to work, shower, and be ready for work at 7 a.m. I would work a full shift all day till about 5 p.m., get off work, go home, eat, work on my business from about 6 p.m. till midnight, and then I would sleep for 4 hours and I'll do it all over again. From the time I started my marketing agency to the time I actually got out of the military, it was almost 5 years. That means I had a thriving company for 4 years and I was still showing up for active duty service every day for 4 years. And within those 4 years, a lot of people found out about what I was doing. They saw me online. They found my website. They saw me posting on social media, going to business conferences. And many of them wanted to know how to do what I was doing. These were active duty service members. I'm talking about Master Chiefs, all right? That with the rank of E9 coming up to me and saying, hey, I learned about you. I heard that you're making money outside the military. I'm retiring next month, and I don't want to sit in a classroom with 19-year-olds, all right? I'm 45 years old. I've been in the Navy, for 25 years. Please teach me what you know. And by the way, I'm willing to pay you for your time. This is when I realized that people are willing to pay you for what you know. They're willing to pay you for information. They're willing to pay you for education because you're somewhere they want to be. So you're now valuable to them. So naturally, as an entrepreneur, what I decided to do at this point is because I had so many friends, colleagues, and military service members, even friends and family from back home, contacted me, direct messaging me, I had to figure out how to get my time back because I was DMing people all the time and having all these conversations, trying to help so many people. I had to figure out how to get my time back. So I created a curriculum, a video series that they could watch on their own time and implement my strategies, what I've learned about paid ads and lead generation and online marketing technology and sales and all this stuff. And wouldn't you know it, many of them started to have success. They started to jump on videos with me, telling me about their success, the clients, their landing, their career change, how they're able to build beyond the military and, get to a point where, and before I knew it, people actually started to have success. I'm like, wow, this works. I can teach people this stuff now, right? So they would tell me about the clients they're landing, how, it's impacting their career. They're making a change. They're making money after the military or they're leaving their job. So I just kept educating. I kept showing up over the years and I grew my team and it's turned into a very successful education and coaching company today. I think it's so important that if there's somewhere you want to be, find someone who's already there, pay them for what they know, because that is the fastest path to success. All right. So any major celebrity, any major business person that you see, all have mentors. Earlier, I mentioned, Tony Robbins and Michael Jordan. You have to have a coach. You have to have a mentor. Otherwise, you're going to try to do it alone and you're probably going to fail and make mistakes that's going to set you back years. Unless you work with somebody that's already there, they can carve out a path and save you years and probably save you a lot of money as well. To date, I continue to still invest in coaches and mentors traveling all over the place. I attend conferences and events. I also speak at many conferences and events. But there's 3 mentors that I want to tell you about that I've received direct coaching and mentorship from that I do want to recognize. And 2 of them were during my military career. The first one is Chief James Arnold. This guy instilled leadership principles in me at an early stage and taught me the benefits of having, good character, teamwork, and a strong work ethic. Because of him, I was able to win Sailor of the Year. The second person is Commander Matthew Palmer. He was my CEO when I was stationed in Naples, Italy back in 2013. We both shared a passion of helping others get to where they want to go and created a Navy fitness program that impacted tens of thousands of sailors all over the world. He also supported me in leading multiple military ceremonies and events for thousands of military service members all over Europe. And the third is Dr. Jeff Spencer. So Dr. Jeff, or Uncle Jeff as I call him, he's an Olympian. He's trained 40 Olympians. He's worked with people like Lance Armstrong through all 9 Tour de France's. He's worked with people like Tiger Woods, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Richard Branson, and even the executive suite at Nike and Hitachi. He has given me so much understanding in the human psychology and how to show up better, be better, and make better decisions by not allowing human hardwiring survival to set in, but to instill a champion's mindset for success where you become a repeat winner, not a one-act wonder. These three gentlemen have had the most impact on me as an entrepreneur, as a father, and as a general human being. And here's a key point. You will never see any of my actual mentors or coaches post a video or website trying to take credit for my success. They are all focused on their own businesses and clients and believe in helping others without recognition. This is a skill that I have practiced all of my life. Give without expectation. Why? Because life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. That's a quote from Joe Polish, a friend and mentor of mine. And when you give without expectation, without expecting any kind of recognition, you start to get on the radar of some of the most influential people in the world. And people start to make content about you. This is a video of Grant Cardone putting me in a list and a lineup of some of the most powerful, influential people in the world. Check it out.
Okay, Donald Trump, Mark Cuban, Brian Tracy, Elon Musk, Tony Robbins, Warren Buffett, Stallone, Oprah, T.D. Jakes, Douglas James, Pace Morby, Eric Worre, Russell Brunson, Dan Kennedy, Spectacular Smith, Bill Allen, Jay-Z. What do all those people have in common? Nothing, except we all know them.
The fact that Ippei created this video, which might have been initiated by Dan, who knows, tells you all you need to know. Same thing for all these other fake review websites, fake video websites. Now, Ippei is correct when he says that our offers are completely different. They are completely different. A lot of what we teach in our agency education company is lead generation using paid ads, not lead generation sites. However, we do way more than just Facebook ads. We actually educate on all social media platforms and search platforms, including training on AI, artificial intelligence, marketing software, and other cutting-edge technology. We have an entire ecosystem from the fulfillment of technology and marketing, but also providing coaching and education on how to execute on sales, accounting, and other important business skills. Our stack is designed for beginners and the sophisticated investor. A big thing these fake review videos and fake review sites don't mention is we just don't offer courses, okay? Courses put 100% of the responsibility on the customer. We do way more than that. We actually offer done-for-you services with an integrated ecosystem, so you don't have to bear all of the weight in building your business. I even host in-person events where we build out all of the assets and launch it for you. If that's of interest to you, I'm sure you can find a link in the description of this video, or here, I'll throw up a QR code on the screen. It's worked so well for us, our clients, and our customers that we've been on the Inc. 5000 2 years in a row, meaning our company is the fastest growing company in the US today, putting us in the top 0.07% of all private companies in the US. And to be honest, I don't recall Ippei has had any kind of business recognition like that or not. Maybe he does. With that being said, that's basically my story. Now let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the psychology of the internet consumer and how these kinds of marketers can use it to take advantage of you. It's all natural human behavior, really. Now, when you see something online, the first thing you do is you either Google it, YouTube it, or you try to find that individual on social media. And what this is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a mix of objective facts and your beliefs. You either A, have a perceived notion that this could be a scam, right? Or B, you think this could be legit, so you want to do more research and find out. Either way, you may already have a conclusion in your mind as to what the outcome is, and you are looking for the first sign that validates your thoughts or feelings. Now, the reason this is a dangerous way to operate is simple. Let's say, for example, you saw one of my ads, right? Then you Googled me or YouTubed me and then immediately found Ippei's video, for example, or one of the other fake review sites. Believed his words to be 100% true, then bought from him. That means you took a single data point and extrapolated it out exponentially to be true. I'm sure you can agree, to make an informed decision, an educated decision, you would need a preponderant amount of data so that you can create your own analysis and your own conclusion. Any smart business owner will tell you this. I'm actually surprised Ippei didn't mention it in his video. Let's highlight some tactics that people like Ippei use to hijack online traffic to convince and persuade you why you should buy from them and not the person you originally seen online. But before I do, you should know that this is all an SEO play to make money. In Ippei's case, I'm going to show you how he's using his tactics to try and persuade you. Let me show you on my screen. So firstly, in order to give a proper in-depth review of someone's product or service, you have to be an active buyer or investor in that person's product or service, right? So example, Ippei right here, he made this video. I don't recall, and I double check with my team, but Ippei has never been a customer, client, or a student in any of our programs, right? So I've never seen him at any of my events. So I'm not sure why he feels that he can create a review of any of our programs or services, right? So what they do is they create these fake review videos like this, and they use keyword research, right? Because they know people are going to be searching the words Douglas James. So here's the title right here. And they know people are going to be saying scam or legit, right? There you go. So there's the keywords right there in the headline. So if we go down to the body, again, you see Douglas James appear multiple times. And also what they do is they create false narratives, right? Stating that, hey, people are confused with Douglas James's course and our course. It's lead generation, it's digital real estate. We're trying to be helpful and create this false narrative as to why we're creating this video, when at the end of the day, we know they're just trying to hijack traffic and divert the attention to their products and services, right? This is their business model. And they also do things like this in line with creating false narratives. They say, because the results he's posting from students are not 100% profit, most of it is client ad spend. Now, of course, it's not 100% profit. Anyone in business understands that there's ongoing expenses to operate a business, right? You have to pay for marketing. You have to pay your employees, your contractors. Maybe you're renting an office, right? Maybe you have softwares. Same thing with SEO. There's ongoing expenses associated with SEO to have a website and to pay for the ongoing maintenance and backlinking to have a website ranked high on Google, which can be very costly. Any business is going to have business expenses. So if a client posted that they made $10,000 in a single month, obviously they're not going home with that, right? Any smart business owner will attempt to cash flow at least 20 to 30% of their revenue, right? Some of these business models, of course, you can cash flow a lot higher, but that's the minimum that you want to see on a balance sheet. This statement right here is actually quite concerning. Most of it is clients' ad spend. So this means that he, Ippei, would have intimate knowledge of every single client, customer, and student that we have ever worked with in regards to their financial balance sheets, which is completely false because I know he doesn't have that data, right? I don't have that data. That's personal financial statements. So this statement is obviously, very, very false. So I mean, for example, like when we work or do an interview or speak with a client or a student and they tell us about their success, they give us their total revenue, right? And we don't ask them for their detailed profit margins or their detailed personal financial statements or anything like that. We might ask them to show verification of the revenue via their merchant processor or bank account, but that's it. And they can blur out any specific details. So this statement's completely false, but this is what these guys do. They create these false narratives, these fake review sites when we're never even an actual customer or paid member of the program or product, and use keyword research in the title and in the description. Now, the next thing they do is they create these fake review sites, okay, using the same scam or legit review strategy. All right, these marketers, right? Here's Ippei's, for example. Now, again, to leave a proper in-depth review of anyone's product or service, you obviously have to be a active paid buyer of their product or service, right? So I double checked with my team. Ippei has never bought from us. Also, I've never seen him attend of any of our events. So obviously the review or the fake review that he's putting together isn't from his personal firsthand experience, just his perception of what he thinks is reality, right? So just like the video, you're going to see similar strategies. The keywords, Douglas James, using branding keywords like the high ticket client guy, using keywords of maybe other companies or programs or things I might be involved in, right, to drive traffic here. Now, I do want to get into something that I found here that I think is actually quite alarming. Now, supposedly these reviews that are on here are supposedly of actual either clients or customers or even students that me or my team or one of my companies have actively worked with before. But after reviewing them and checking with my team, we actually can't identify any of these guys, right? So we have Jeff, we have Cynthia, right? We have Melvin, and we have Jess, right? Now, we just have the first names. We don't have the last name. When we do interviews or get testimonials or do case studies with our students, clients, or customers, we typically get their last name almost always, right? So it's weird that these just have first names. And what's also kind of weird is each of them like start off exactly the same. And these are audio files. So if you hit play, it's an audio voice. And I'll get to that in a second. But it says, hi, Jeff here, right? And this says, hi, I'm Cynthia. Hey, I'm Melvin. Hi, my name is Jess, right? They just kind of like all start off the same. Weird, right? If you look into the body, our team did look into the body of these. We've certainly helped people achieve results similar to this, like 3Xing their company in 1 month, right? Profiting another $1,500 to $2,500 per month, getting all the strategies they need to grow their business, right? Hitting $30,000 and $40,000 a month in revenue. We have certainly helped people achieve these results before and more. The problem is we just can't identify these specific people. Now, if these are real clients or customers or students of ours, I'm really happy that they got these results. That's amazing, guys. Keep going. But we're just not able to identify them. So, and then also just kind of how this is put together is pretty sketchy. Now, if I play this, again, it's going to be an audio. I'm not going to play it, but they all sound like just a little weird. And when I say weird, I mean that they sound like they may potentially be fabricated. And I'm not saying they are. I can't confirm or deny that, but they just sound a little strange. Now, we know that technology exists, artificial intelligence. You can use something like descript.com. They have an overdub feature when all you got to do is train an AI voice to say whatever you want. You just upload the text and boom, it spits out an MP3 file, upload to your website, just like this. All right. Not saying they did this, but it's definitely possible, right? I did dig a little bit deeper into here. So these are all uploaded to SoundCloud. So if you click the SoundCloud logo here, it brings you to the file, but then you can actually go to the person that uploaded. It looks like this is Ippei's account right here. You can actually go to his account. And what do you know? It looks like this same scam risk, this same scam legit review strategy, he's using it not just towards me, but he's also doing it towards other marketers and other people that are probably trying to impact the world and get their message out there, right? People like here, like you may or may not know some of these people. I may or may not know all of them, like Ty Lopez, this Hustlers University, whatever that is, Anthony Morrison, Commission Hero, Review by Meg. Not sure what that is. It's like there's a residual payments one. Whatever, Hustlers University, said that one already. You see the few from myself, right? And we keep going. I'm actually not sure how many on there. Actually, it looks like we got 48 of them total. And this is just one account. Who knows if they have more accounts, right? So it looks like Ben, new folder, D-Clan. Not sure what that is, right? You have this guy, right? Jeff Lerner, okay? Amazing Selling Machine. Okay, so it's quite obvious that this strategy, they're shooting it off towards multiple people. This is their business model. This is how they make their money, right? They create the fake videos, like I showed you. They also create the fake website or the fake review websites where they're not approaching it from an actual customer perspective. They're approaching it from data that they gather online, and they're drawing up their own conclusions and perception of what they think reality is, which is not a accurate testament as to what the product or service really is. And after reviewing this stack, they're like 95% inaccurate in all of this stuff here. Didn't actually quite do their research as to what all my offerings are, which is kind of interesting. But that's fun. And again, look, this is what always happens. There's always a conclusion down to the end. And what do you know? There's always a link to their product or service, right? If I click this, it's probably going to go to a page where it's asking for an email address or a phone number, and there might be a training that you'll watch. And then after you watch a training, they'll probably ask you to schedule a call. And then obviously on the call, they're trying to collect money from you. So this is the strategy that these guys use. They create the fake review sites, to create the fake review videos to try to persuade you and hijack the traffic and confuse you to get you away from the original person you were interested in learning from. So this is just an example of what they do. Now, some of these guys, they, earn money. They do this for a living, right? This is adding to their bottom line. But sometimes there's affiliate marketers, people that don't have a product or service, and they go to another individual that has products or services, and they say, hey, if I sell your stuff, can you pay me a commission, right? And then that's what they do. So they'll create like these fake review sites, fake review videos, create this big elaborate article, and then at the bottom, there's a link to sell that product or service. So because they might be getting a commission, it might be 10%, 20%, or even 50%, right? So that's affiliate marketing. And just to go a little bit deeper here and show you even more of this, these guys, Ippei, for example, as well as all the other, online hijacking, scam risk marketers, they're doing this for multiple people. Like I showed you the SoundClouds for all the different programs. I'm going to show you some other examples of them doing this too. They're not just doing it to me. They're doing it to actually apparently dozens and dozens of people. Who knows how many people they're doing this to? But this is their strategy. This is how they make money, right? Here's one called from Champs Abdul. I found a page, right? You go into it. It's the same exact strategy. Now, I can't speak if Ippei actually bought from them. Chances are he didn't. But again, he's doing the same exact thing, right? Creating pages with them and putting screenshots of them and photos and then breakdowns of whatever they find online about their programs, and then creating whatever narrative it is, whether it's false or negative. So it's the same exact strategy. And then if you go all the way down to the bottom, there's a conclusion. And again, look, there's a link to buy their stuff. Here's another one with this gentleman here. It's called Commission Hero with Robbie Blanchard, right? Same deal. I'm not going to go. This one's got one of the SoundClouds in it. So who knows if that's real or not? It could be AI, it could not be AI. Who knows? But yeah, here's a face that you probably know, Grant Cardone. Very, actually one of my friends and mentors, right? So same straight. They're even doing it to people high up and incredible as Grant Cardone. So there's actually seemed to be no boundary to drive traffic and hijack traffic online to their sites and stuff. So, if I go all the way down, I bet we'll see a link to buy their stuff, right? They put a little bit more information on these guys. So look, there it is right there. Here's Tony Robbins. Again, there's no boundaries as to how far they'll go, right? No boundaries. Again, create a review article, and then boom, there we go. There it is. So that's these guys' business model. And then what happens is, you might Google search, Tony Robbins reviews or Tony Robbins unleashed the power within review, right? You'll do that on Google, and then you'll see their site show up at that top of that search. So instead of clicking on Tony Robbins' program, you click on their link and it brings you to this page and you read it. And because their copy is probably pretty decent, like they're writing probably to you would be useful stuff, you just don't know the behind the scenes of what actually is going on of them trying to persuade and funnel you into their program. You think, oh, wow, this is pretty legit. Oh, he's educating me. Oh, I'm learning something. He's giving me value. Okay, I think I'll buy from him. So that's kind of like the psychology of this, of what's going on, right? So that's how this works. So I just wanted to show you some examples of that. So again, this video was, like I said, a response to Ippei's video, but it's more of a response to all of these online fake review websites, these scam legit marketers. And, Ippei's not the only one. There's literally dozens of people that do this to everyone of power and influence and people that are making an impact. They're always going to try to run ads or SEO traffic to their keyword searches. Like for me, Douglas James, because I spend so much money on paid ads and I have so much attention, obviously they're going to want to hijack some of that attention because that's their business model, which in my opinion, I think is unethical. But that's just me. Now, I mean, just for example, if, I'm doing a search, Douglas James reviews, which is a common search for me. People want to know like, hey, what are his customers saying about him and stuff. But these guys are actually, in it as well, actually quite heavy. Scamrisk.com. So if I click here, you can see they're using the same tactics as Ippei, doing Douglas James and the word review. And then they go, because of the month and year that I'm shooting this in, they're probably going to keep updating this to make it feel or seem like it's relevant or it's newly updated when it's not, when it's just the same material. So if you click here and come here, again, we see the same tactics on this website. And, Douglas James review. So it's the same scam risk style. Is he legit or not? Mentioning Douglas James multiple times, and these guys, I believe this gentleman's name is Joshua Osborne that's behind this. He checked with my team. He's actually never purchased anything from us or attended any of our events. So this whole, fake review article is really just based off of information he might have found online about me and created the perception, drew up any kind of conclusions as to what he think is reality, right? So I'm not, and a lot of the material in here is out of date or inaccurate. So apparently they didn't do quite the amount of research or know all of what's going on with my programs and everything. So I'll just scroll again all the way to the bottom. If you get to the bottom of this article, it's the same deal every single time. There'll be a link all the way at the bottom, right about here. You click there and then boom, it goes to a page that is asking for your information so that you could buy their product or service. So these guys have been doing this for quite some time, and they have been doing it for quite a few other people. You can actually bounce around on their website and find other articles that they do this for, like review. Look at all these different programs and offers that they're doing this to. All right. You got Omega Pro review, Intense Live review, Crypto Tab review, Easy Bot review, all of these different offers. I mean, look at all the pages on here. They're doing this, and they're claiming to be some type of scam protection website. When if you read and actually do your research into these guys, again, they're not paid customers or anything like that. And it's very well positioned. They have this little fact checked here, but if you do your research and look into them, it's the same exact strategy that Ippei's using, the same scam, legit, fake review, fake video strategy to hijack the keyword traffic that you might be using to search for the coach or mentor or person that you're learning from. And then you get confused and see their stuff and start to get into their funnel. And that causes a lot of confusion in the marketplace, right? So this is the strategy. This is how these guys get paid. So this scamrisk.com is also another one to really be wary of so that you can protect yourself, just like Ippei. Now, going back to this search real fast, Douglas James reviews, and unfortunately, some people straight up put, Douglas James scam, and these scam legit marketers really love when people do that because they'll show higher up on the search. But for example, they'll also run ads. So example, there's 3 ads up here, right? Actually, the top 2, I own these domains. We're actually running these ads, right? DouglasJamesReview.com, that's our website, and also onlineeducationtraining.com, which both have useful, in-depth, transparent information about what we offer. So if people search us, we obviously are trying to steer them into getting the information from the horse's mouth, right? Now, this one right here, this third one, this is obviously scamrisk.com. Just so you know, these particular guys actually used to run ads with Douglas James in the title here, which actually was a trademark infringement because I can pull this up in the next video or show you, but I had Douglas James trademarked. And because they were trying to basically profit and run ads on my name or my brand, obviously we reported that and got our legal team involved and got their ads shut down, because that's not allowed via the policy. It was a trademark infringement. So now they're back running ads again, apparently, and they're not using Douglas James. They're using other keywords like trying to position themselves as some type of like in-depth investigation report or whatever it is. If you click this, again, it goes straight to, the same exact website that I showed you in the previous video. So just keep an eye out for these guys. Again, they're doing it to multiple other people as well, running ads. Some of the other offers that they might be running ads to, Like if you go to any of these and they have all these review articles, it could be possible that they're running ads and then using their keyword name that might or might not be trademarked, and the business may or may not know. Our team is just very savvy and on top of our PR. So we keep very close contact with what people are doing and saying online, as well as working really closely with our legal team. So that's why we were able to catch it. So just look out for these guys to protect yourself. All right. Look, you will never see me creating intentional content that creates a false narrative about someone else's business in order to hijack their customers or potential customers. Honestly, in my opinion, it's unethical. This is all a plot to take you away from the original coach or person you were learning from. But look, this is nothing new, okay? So companies jab their competitors all the time. Here's some examples. Here you can see an image, all right? So it's basically a Pepsi can in a cloak or a cape of a Coca-Cola can, right? So this was a Halloween ad. So companies do this all the time. They take jabs at each other all the time. This is actually quite funny. Look at this war going on between Wendy's and McDonald's. This one image Wendy's posted on Twitter, like, is that a garbage truck? It's obviously like a McDonald's truck that probably has, materials and supplies, right? So look, this is nothing new. Competitors and companies do this all the time to each other. The difference is sometimes it can be playful and it can be fun and it can be funny, but other times it could seem unethical where you're literally hijacking and taking away customers by creating false narratives or fake review articles, kind of like these guys we're talking about on this video. Now, just real quick, you might be searching online to locate my social media platforms or get a glimpse into, what's going on in my life and my presence online. So I do want to share with you my social media accounts just so you're aware of them, because what does happen, obviously, sometimes for someone like me, because of my influence and my online presence, sometimes people create, duplicate pages or duplicated accounts. And I want to make sure that if you are engaging with one of my social media pages, that it's actually one of mine and not one of these imposters that you might see online. Just so you know, I will never DM you or direct message you on any social media platforms and ask you for money or crypto or any of these kinds of things. If anyone is direct messaging you, claiming to be myself, asking you for money or anything like that, chances are they're an imposter and, they're not me. So just be aware of that because, unfortunately, the internet, there's imposters, there's people with scams and all that kinds of stuff. So I just want to make you aware of that. But these are my social media channels. So my main one is on YouTube. Right. And on YouTube, you can see this says Douglas James and it has the blue check verified. That means I'm a verified individual on this social media platform as someone being of power, influence, or celebrity, or however you want to call it. They have a list of things criteria that they go through. And then if you're one of these individuals, they give you a verified check. So basically this is me. So if you don't see this verified check, chances are it's not me. We do have some pages that don't have the check, and I'll show you those here in just a second. So this is my YouTube. So if you come in here and you want to learn more about me and the story and the case studies and testimonials of students and just kind of what I'm involved in, you're welcome to come here. So that's YouTube. Instagram. Okay. Again, this is it. _Douglas James, my profile photo, and you can see a blue check. It says verified. Okay. All right. So this is my Instagram. On Facebook, this is my personal Facebook page. Okay. I'm in incognito window right now, so it's asked me to log in, but you'll see Douglas James and the blue verified check again right here. So it says Facebook confirmed this is an authentic profile for this public figure. Okay, so make sure you pay attention to this. Now let's go over to Twitter. Here's my Twitter, Douglas James with the blue check. Okay, the handle is at Douglas_James_. So you can see my Twitter. All right, so that is my 4 main verified accounts that we operate out of mainly. The URL, if you can see the URL, that's something to pay attention to. Douglas James official for YouTube, for Instagram, _Douglas James, for Facebook, Douglas Tech Doherty Tech.3, and then Douglas_James_ for Instagram. Now, here are the non-verified pages. We have, Facebook and Instagram, they only allowed you to have, like one verified page each. So we have multiple pages. So they don't unfortunately allow you to verify all of them. There is some limitations generations. So this is another page that I have, Douglas James. You can see it has 23,000 followers, 23,000 likes. The URL of that is douglasjames.org. Okay, so if you see me or following this page, know that this is my page. Okay, here's another Facebook page. It's called the VIP Agency. This one you can see is at 8.3 thousand likes, 9.6 thousand followers. All right, so again, if you see us posting here, this is us. It's Facebook, the VIP Agency in the URL. And the final one here is another Instagram. It's the_VIP_agency. All right, so if you follow this page, it has 2,200 followers and a lot of content like that. So I just wanted to cover this. Again, protect you. If you're following me, engaging with my content, make sure you're getting it from credible sources. Douglas James, again, is trademarked. So make sure you're following these specific pages if you're following my content or anything like that. So I hope this helps. In business, the best thing you can do is just play your own game. Personally, I don't identify anyone as a competitor. And why is that? It's because I don't compete. I simply create. Tony Robbins says it himself. You have to be in a place where you're creating value for other people, right? If you're in a position where you're always measuring yourself to other people and getting in competition with other people, you never really tap into your own uniqueness. You have something unique inside of you that is just raging and waiting to come out. And you have to tap into that and focus on it because, look, here's the deal. None of us are getting out of this thing alive. The only thing that's going to be left is our name and what people say about us. Right? So yes, while we're here, let's make money. Let's take care of our families. Let's put our kids through better colleges or better schools, right? Let's get the nice home. But more importantly, let's do all that and spend time with the people that matter to us, right? That's what I'm all about. Like, let's make this money. Let's create opportunity and let's be valuable, but let's spend time with the people we love because that time we can never get back, right? So don't be in competition. I'm never in competition. I just create. And I create for other people so that I can spend time with the people that are important to me. That's it. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to get into the difference between paid ads and lead generation sites, okay? So lead gen sites work, I did them. But because of the ever-changing algorithm, I lost all my sites overnight, and the coaching program that I was in was teaching a spamming, backlinking practice, right? Like, how would I have seen that coming? It just happened. And the problem with lead gen sites and SEO, you're going to pay hidden cost, okay? You're going to pay for backlinking. There's going to be web developer fees. Mailing addresses, you're going to have one per site. There's a complicated Google My Business verification process. And here's a big one. SEO can take 2 to even 12 months or sometimes longer to get paid and rank a site and have leads coming in. Paid ads show at the top of search, commanding at least 14% of all clicks on a single search. Organic can have a higher CTR. However, it's risky in the sense that it takes forever, has high monthly cost, and Google can update their algorithm literally at any time and remove your sites from the page one. Google highly values their advertisers. Why? Because they are paying them. And advertisers are responsible for 25% of their total $1 trillion market cap. So advertisers have priority over non-paid members as well. So saying that the traffic is free is pretty much a false statement. There's certainly going to be ongoing costs associated with having a website ranking high on Google for targeted keywords. You can expect to pay anywhere from $500 a month to even $5,000 a month per site. In hard cost, that means you as the SEO agency would have to charge your clients double that to make a profit. And again, at any moment, Google's algorithm can wipe you out. So it's very risky. Now, I like my donuts glazed and I like my traffic paid. Paid ads work like this. You put $1 in today and $4, $5, and even $10 could come out the same day. Why? It's like a cash flowing ATM. Money flows in and out the same day. Customers are searching for products and services all day, not just on Google, but also signing up and buying from places like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And instead of complicated processes and lengthy timeframes with SEO, you can be up, launched, and cash flowing quickly with paid ads. These are small online ads like digital billboards that take minutes to do, not months or years like SEO. And businesses need them. Look how much money they're spending on this. Businesses spend $56 billion a year on social media ads, $225 billion a year on Google ads, and a total of $520 billion on internet ads as a whole. These stats are increasing year over year. According to this stat, businesses spend only $73 billion on SEO. Big number, but if you do the math, and look, I graduated high school with like a 1.7 GPA, so you don't need to be smart to tell me that 520 billion is a way bigger number than 73 billion. Since it's a way larger pie, that means you can probably make at least 713% more money with paid ads than SEO. I say follow the money. Just for fun, let's look at some other common industries other than SEO and compare them to paid ads in regards to marketing spend and opportunity. Affiliate marketing, $6.8 billion a year. Amazon FBA, $42 billion a year. Shopify, $2.1 billion a year. Airbnb, $100 million a year. MLMs, I actually couldn't find any financial stats, but I found out that 99% of people lose money in MLMs, so I'd avoid that for sure. Follow the money. No opportunity can compete with paid ads' $500 billion spend per year. The attention is there. Paid ads is king. Now, if you really want to see actual case studies, testimonials, and real reviews of real clients, customers, and students that we have worked with, this page is all you need to see. This page has literally almost every single client, customer, and student that we work with over the years. And many of them were recently shot as early as just a few days ago, right? And none of these people were paid. These are all actual people that invested into our programs or our services, and they all got amazing results. For example, this guy Natalio sitting here on my couch. I also have live events in person where people come out and they spend a few days with our team. We build out all their stuff, launch it, and manage it for them. Natalio here was here for one of my events, and he came up to me and he said, Douglas, you've added $18,000 a month of revenue to my business. Thank you. And I'm like, guy, we need to go sit upstairs on my couch. I need to hear more about your story, right? Or like Chris, I've helped him add $47,000 a month in revenue to his agency, right? We also have military veterans like David, right, that came to one of my events, and he has been so impressed and had such great results and moving so fast through the process. When he came up to me to tell me his story, I was like, man, we have to do you mind if we do a video? Like, this is amazing. Or like Evan, he used to work at Target and he's got 3 little girls. Now he's doing over $25,000 a month. Alan Moore, if you watched this video, he did $6 million in his agency last year, right? Amazing results that these people are having. Dominique Taylor, a mother, right? A chiropractor, doing $25,000 a month by working with other chiropractors. Johnny, a former Marine Corps machinist, working on tanks, doing over 6 figures a month. James Martin used to be in the Navy, deploying all the time on ships. Now he's doing over 50 grand a month, right? No matter your background, no matter your skills, no matter whether you've worked with online technology or online marketing or any of that, you don't need it to do this, right? So if you want to see real reviews of actual people, I'm showing you this because, you know, these are real people that we have worked with, not some fake review site, some fake review article that you might have seen online. This is all legitimate people that we worked with in actual videos. You're more than welcome to find this link, you know, and review. I post videos actually often on the YouTube channel, you know, so you don't really have to go far to find videos. Like, it's not like we're hiding videos or anything, you know. Victor here, he's actually a Mexican immigrant. English is his second language. He's doing $30,000 a month, right? Shane doing 10 grand a month in just 43 days by working with us. Now he's traveling all over the country with his kids in his trailer, right? Josh hits $10,500 in a single month. I just did this interview literally, I think 2 days ago from recording this video right now for YouTube. All right. Tay, he's not even from US. He's from Australia, doing over 25 grand a month. I think he's even doing 50K now, you know, so it doesn't matter like where you live, what country. Businesses need customers to stay in business, right? And paid ads is the most effective, fastest way to deliver those results on the consistent basis for the long term. It can be long-term scalable, right? John's doing 25K a month in his agencies. Zach's doing 10K a month. Alex is doing 50K a month, okay? These are all videos. We can play them, but they're here. Luke's actually doing over 100K. I caught up with him the other day, so like just amazing people doing amazing stuff. And just this page right here, I could literally scroll for days. We do virtual. We have virtual services where, you can be in New York, Florida, Ohio. It doesn't matter where you live, Texas, and you work with our team, or we do in-person stuff. So obviously these are all live testimonials from clients that we have worked with in person that you're more than welcome to check out and hear their live testimonial of working with us. Okay. You may or may not know this if it matters, but I've been on TV. I've been featured on TV and highlighted as an authority in the marketing space for some time. So in addition to being recognized on the Inc. 5000 2 years ago, I've also been invited to speak on TV and share stuff with local businesses on how to grow their companies. Spoken at stages, held events, real life testimonials and influencers and amazing people that I've worked with, right? Spoken at mastermind. So I'm just kind of like showing you this. So if there's any question, hey, where's the reviews, Doug? Well, here they are. Like there's plenty of stuff to show here to, show credibility. And these awards, I hand out $25,000 a month awards, $10,000 a month awards, $100,000 a month awards to all these people. In order for them to get these awards, they have to show verification. So we have to see, a merchant processor or bank account. It's not like we're just handing out awards to people. Okay. Real checks, like this guy landing 10 grand, like, so this person doing $46,000 in a single month. Okay. This person doing 6 figures a month. All right. So I can scroll for days on this page. I don't want to beat the dead horse on this part of the video. Tons of 5-star reviews. I just wanted to show this because in the conversation of talking about, fake review articles, these scam legit marketers that are hijacking traffic, and potentially using AI. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny if that's a real thing or not, but these are actually our customers. Okay. Real people that we've helped that have real results. So I hope this makes sense. As I digress here, I didn't make this video to convince you to buy from me, hire a paid ads coach or a lead gen coach. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. Only thing I ask is that you use this information to make an informed decision. Don't rely on a single YouTube video or a single website to solve your problems. I'm sure Ippei means well, maybe. He's probably just trying to pay the bills, but he can't save you, nor can I. Because no matter what path you choose, the only person that can do what it takes to get you closer to where you are trying to go is you. People like me, Ippei, or any of these online coaches or gurus, they can't give you the magic pill to make the pain go away. It does take work and commitment, and you can't abdicate that responsibility to anyone else. It's your job to do it. What a coach or a mentor can offer you is a chance to peek into the future, offer you their support with tools and resources to get you there, but you got to do it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Let me offer you this. If you really want to change and you really want to work on yourself to be successful in anything in life, a career change, including online business, watch this video next. It's free and it will probably change your life forever. It might be the most important video that I've ever created. I'm Douglas James. Thanks for watching.